Hi to everyone joining me this morning. Today's class is just going to be a really nice, stretchy, feel-good, restorative class. So if your body just feels in the need of a stretch, then I hope you enjoy working out with me this morning. That's my aim. So I'm going to start with a band. It doesn't really matter if you don't have a band, but obviously a band would be useful. So if you have one, it's going to go around one of your feet. Then we're going to cross the band over just to sort of nicely secure that foot. And then just roll your spine down, vertebrae by vertebrae, and draw that leg up into a hamstring stretch position. So I'm going to open my band out a little bit and pull my elbows to the mat, and that'll just remind me to really try to stabilize through my shoulder girdle. I'm going to roll my head maybe once or twice side to side, so just do that just to loosen out your neck. And then if you feel ready to go, we're going to inhale, lower the leg, exhale, and just lift it up. So just really trying to gently ease ourselves into a hamstring stretch. You're not looking to force the stretch, just allow your body to go, or your leg to go to the place that it really wants to go to this morning. Just maybe do 2 more. I'm going to inhale down, exhale and lift, and 1 more, inhale down, exhale, lift, and just hold it here for a moment. Shoulders nice and relaxed. So it's so easy when you hold the band to tense in the shoulders. You've got to constantly remind yourself to set those shoulder blades in their sockets. We're going to take a tick-tock movement or a windshield wiper movement, pressing across and pressing out. And all the while with this exercise, you are looking to maintain a nice, stable pelvis. So you've got to test that range of motion, of movement, as you go across and out to the side. You want to feel that your sacrum and your tailbone is quite heavily secured to the mat, as are those shoulder blades. And then from here we progress it to leg circles. So I'm just going to circle down, around and up. And I quite like to drive the circle with my arm or with my hand on that band. So it just gives me that little bit of support as I circle down, and I'm actually pulling up on the band here with my left hand as I circle up. We're going to do 1 more. So if that feels good for you, do that as well. Then reverse the circle, down, around, and as I come over to my right, I'm actually just going to use my right hand just to tug gently into the band. Circling down, around, just looking to feel that movement in your hip joint. And take 1 more, and then hold up at the top. So you're going to try to draw the leg a tiny bit closer if that is available to you. If I flex my foot, dorsiflex my foot, that means I pull my toes towards my face. Then I'm going to reach up and take my band, opposite hand to foot, same arm can go out to the side, and I'm just going to ease across into a stretch. So you're going to feel the stretch come all the way up into the outside of that hip. And because I've rolled a little bit onto my right side, I'm going to look for a 2-way stretch. So as my leg goes over, yes, my hip gets the stretch, but now I'm also going to try and pull this hip just kind of very gently backwards, or the feeling that I'm trying to, the sensation that that's what I'm trying to do, is to draw this hip back to the mat. So you get that 2-way stretch going on from the foot and from the hip. And then just take a nice deep breath in. Exhale to try to relax in your stretch. It's good to use the breath to really help us relax these bodies. Breathing in, bend the knee in towards you, come back to the center. Extend your leg, and now swap hands with the band. So the same hand as foot, other hand can just go out to the side, and then you're going to open out and stretch into the inner thigh muscles. And for me, I'm relatively flexible. I like to take my elbow and put my elbow on the floor here, so it just gives me that sense of support. And the stretch, not only coming into the inner thigh, but actually the leg that's on the mat. If you wiggle that foot, just kind of flex and point it, trying to inch it down the mat, you might feel a lovely sort of hip opening sensation in your opposite hip. Then we're going to breathe in. And on the exhale, definitely bend your knee to come back to the center. Extend that leg to the ceiling, and then pick your head up and just push your foot into the band and swing yourself up to sitting. Okay, so we're going to swap feet, and let's do the other side. So wrapping the band around the sole of the foot, and then crossing it over just to make it a little bit more snug, a little bit more secure here in your foot. And then breathing in, drawing into your belly button, trying to roll your back down as best you can, and then pull those elbows to the floor, open up your collarbones, just check your head is nice and relaxed, that even your jaw is relaxed. And then we're just going to inhale to press the foot down into the band, exhale, draw the leg up. And again, you're just looking to feel a stretch in the calf and the hamstring. You're not looking to overdo the stretch, just a nice gentle move, pressing down. It also depends, what time of day you're doing this stretch. So if you've just got out of bed, you're going to feel a little bit more stiff than if, for example, you were doing this in the evening after you've been up and active for a while. Breathing in, breathing out. Take one more breath and then hold up at the top. So once again, just look to stabilize those shoulders. Don't let them start to creep up to your ears. You're going to go into tick-tock, pressing out, wide, and pressing across, exhaling and inhaling, looking to keep your pelvis as stable and still as you can on the mat. So it's the inner thigh that actually does the work as I go across, and the outer thigh that acts like a brake when I come back. And I'm also trying really hard not to use my arms with this one, just keeping those elbows secure. We take it down into leg circles, circle down, round it up. I like to exhale down and inhale up, but if you prefer to inhale down and exhale up, that's fine too. Just whatever breath comes more naturally to you. Let's do one more. Pressing down into the band, circle round and up, and then reverse the circle. And remember, as you come down, you can use the hand on the band to just give you that sense of lift. So you've got the momentum of the leg carrying it around and up, and then you can do a little pull into the band. Not so much that you upset your shoulders, but just so it helps you really get that lovely movement out to the side. Okay, pause in the center. Reach up, grab the band with the opposite hand. Same hand goes to the floor, and then take your leg across your body, and again my head naturally wants to turn the other way, so the head acts as a counterbalance. You're going to breathe in, and again you're looking for that two-way stretch, so from the ankle right through to that hip, and I'm going to try to really draw this right hip bone backwards towards the mat as I maintain the stretch with my leg here. Breathing in, exhaling, and again inhale, and then soften the knee in towards you, come back to the ceiling. Extend your legs, swap hands with your band, and then really open out. And I do feel that my left hip bone wants to travel with me, so I'm going to flex and point my foot as I inch it along the floor to really get that lovely sense of opening up through the front of the left hip bone. And then just taking a nice deep breath in. Exhale to try to relax. And again, breathing in. And then on the exhale, I'm going to bend my knee first, extend that leg to the ceiling, pick my head up, push my foot into the band. And sometimes if you don't get up on your first attempt, which I just didn't do, it's nice to lift that second leg, and you can just add a little swing to the movement. So it just depends on how your body or how your back is feeling this morning, as to whether you do a little bit of extra or whether you get to just roll up by yourself. Okay, so now we're going to take the band, wrap it around the soles of the feet. Equally, you can do your roll-ups without the band, but again, if you struggle with mobility in your back, the band is a really nice way to help you control that mobility. Breathing in. On the exhale, I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, round my spine, pull my legs together, pull up through my pelvic floor, in through the navel, and then relax. Inhale to nod the chin forward. Upper abs kick in first, squeezing front ribs to back ribs, pulling navel to spine, then just stretching. Looking down, not so much towards my thighs, but maybe even more towards my shin bone, so I get length in the back of the neck as well here. Inhaling, squeezing those legs together, tucking your tailbone under, rounding out your spine, observing your alignment here as you roll down, just checking that you've got those feet nicely stacked next to each other. Inhale to nod the chin forward, that your legs are straight, exhaling that you're not being tempted to lean to one side more than the other, because that's kind of normal, natural that we tend to do that. So try to correct that imbalance. If you feel that you are leaning maybe more to the right or more to the left, relax the head. Inhale, nod the chin forward. Exhale, if you struggle, bicep curl the arms to come forward. Take the stretch, breathing in. Shoulders are soft, tailbones tuck under, sacrum to the mat, lower back, mid back, upper back, and then relax the head down. We're just going to do one more breath. Inhale to nod the chin forward. Exhale, fire up those abdominals. And then stretch forward over your toes. Okay, we're going to release the band. We're just going to leave it there for now. And then you're going to come towards the front of the mat and just either roll down by yourself, or if you struggle, you hold the backs of the legs, or you come down onto your elbows. So there are lots of choices here. Roll your spine down. I think that's one of the beautiful things about Pilates. It really is for every body. There are always modifications to be made. So we're going to start with the feet, knees and hips. Just hip distance apart, heels in line with your sit bones, kind of the idea that the shoulders are in line with the hips and the knees and the ankles and the arms relaxed down by your side, and find that neutral spine, so that natural position here for your back. We're going to breathe in. On the exhale, pull your belly button in, tuck the tailbone under, and peel your spine up. So I'm using my glutes to really stretch through the front of my pelvis. I'm trying not to lift my rib cage too much. Breathing in, and then exhaling, just rolling your back down vertebrae by vertebrae, or the idea that that's how we're trying to roll it down and come back to neutral. Breathing in, scooping into your belly button, peeling that spine up, lengthening into the back of the neck. Reach your hands long towards your heels, stretch the arms up and overhead, and then exhale and just roll that back down to the bottom of your mat. And then bring the arms down, and we're just going to do one more breath here, tucking the tailbone under, peeling that spine up, lengthening into the back of the neck, reaching the hands, stretching them up and overhead, and then exhaling and just allowing your spine to flow down to the mat. And when your tailbone is down, arms come down. Okay, so we're going to roll onto our sides, and if you stack your legs, just sort of maybe one on top of the other, or just whatever feels slightly comfortable for you. You can have the underneath arm long, or my preference is to bend the underneath arm, so it's really whatever feels better for you. Reach that front arm out in line with your shoulder. We're going to inhale and slide the fingertips along the floor. Exhale, lift the arm to the ceiling, the head follows, and then the fingertips, they may or they may not touch the floor behind you, but what I'm not going to do is roll back with my hips to let them touch the floor, so I'm going to stay quite stacked. And just let the chest get this fabulous stretch. Arm comes back down in front of you, breathing in. Reaching along the floor, lengthening through the fingertips, stay, look at the ceiling. Arm opens, so it's such a lovely stretch all the way along the front of the chest. Breathing in, pulling in your navel, even though you don't need it, it's just good training here. And let's take one more, reach along, lengthen, lift, and then just get that fabulous stretch all the way across the front of the chest. Breathing in, and then exhaling, and bringing the arm back. So I'm going to take my hand and just place it here. I'm going to prop myself up so I can look at you, but you could equally be lying down. You're going to just take a moment to look at your feet. You want to have your feet, your knees, and your hips in a sort of a triangle shape. And you also want to make sure that you really are over on that underneath hip joint, that you're not going to roll back. And actually, it's not a bad idea sometimes for clams, which is the exercise we're going to do next, to pop your hand on your hip bone, so that when you exhale and you lift your knee, okay, the target muscle is this gluteal muscle here, and then release down. If you lift your knee and you roll back onto your underneath hip bone, you're going to get your knee higher, which is not the point, because you're going to lose the muscle engagement on that left hip, or right hip, whichever side you're lying on. So you're going to breathe in, exhale, you're going to squeeze up and release down. So it's a fairly subtle, gentle move when we start out with this clam series. Exhale as you lift, and inhale as you lower. We're going to do two more, so exhale, squeeze up, and inhale, release down. And just take one more, exhale, lift up, and inhale. Here comes the change. You're going to invert, so your knees go to the floor and your toes go up to the ceiling. And again, this hip bone is staying quite far forward. I'm going to exhale, press up and squeeze into that gluteal muscle here, those glute meads, and then take the leg down. Exhaling as you press up, inhaling as you take it down. So you should start to feel the exercise getting a little bit more intense, really tuning into this gluteal muscle actually functioning, trying really hard to keep your pelvis completely stable. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. We're just maybe going to do 2 or 3 more reps, squeeze up. So I'm setting out to do maybe sort of 5 or 6 reps of everything. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower, and do one more. Exhale, lift, and then inhale, lower. Now you're just going to lift the knee off. You're going to turn the knee down, and then you're going to squeeze and tap the feet together. So I'm going to internally rotate the knee, externally lift it up. Breathing in as I lower, exhaling as I twist and lift. Inhale down. So now you should really start to feel this muscle. Hopefully, inhale down, exhale up, and remember, keep pulling in your belly button. Once again, we don't actively need it, but it's really good training for that muscle to stay engaged. Lifting up, and just take one more. Inhale to lower, and then exhale to lift up. And then take the knees down before we stretch the glute. You're going to stay in the sideline position, but you're going to interlace your fingers and open yourself back. So we're in a sort of a twisted position here. We're going to breathe in, and on the exhale, you're just going to do a tiny little chest lift. So the target muscle is the top oblique abdominal. And then inhale, release and lower. Exhaling as I squeeze and lift. So I'm looking to my top hip bone. Inhale and lower. Exhaling to squeeze up and inhale. We're going to maybe do 3 more. Squeeze and lift. Release and lower. And 2 more. Exhale, lift. And release and lower. And just take 1 more lift and then reach those arms in front of you. Tiny pulses, squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, wiggle yourself back to the center of your mat. The leg that was doing the clam work, it's going to cross over the top of the other leg. Figure 4 glute stretch. You're going to reach and hold behind your thigh, and then relax your head down and just, again, go for the 2-way stretch. So yes, I'm drawing my leg in towards me and stretching out my buttock muscle, but at the same time, I'm really trying to lengthen my tailbone along the floor as well, and even look to create a neutral spine with my back, which some of us will be able to do, and for some of us, we might only just be able to reach behind the leg. And for some of you, if you can't even reach behind the leg, it's absolutely fine to take your stretch like this, and really then maybe focusing on your neutral spine, or even maybe a slight arch, tilt away that tailbone. We're going to breathe in, and then exhale, uncross the legs. So you could just roll over. I'm going to sit myself up and spin around, so I get to face you all. But if you wanted to just roll over, you could just roll over. So I like to cradle my head in my hand, stacking hip on hip, knee on knee, ankle bone on ankle bone, and really making sure that I'm actually lying on that side, that I'm not lying with my belly button, facing the ceiling. First one, this is one of my favorite stretches. Reach the fingertips along the floor, lift your fingertips to the ceiling, head follows to the ceiling, the arm may or may not touch the mat behind you. Such a good stretch. You could do lots and lots of weights, and if you don't stretch the muscles in the front of your body, you won't really improve your posture. So you need to have a good balance, opening up the arms, stretching through the front of the chest, inhaling and release back. Inhale, reach, lengthen, lift. I remember as a postnatal mother a long time ago, this used to be one of my favorite stretches. If you think of your posture, if you've got a small baby, you're constantly sort of rounded over that tiny baby. So this is just really fabulous for opening up through the front of the chest. And breathing in, let's do 1 more, reaching, lengthening, lifting. Of course you could do as many as you like. Exhaling, taking that stretch, breathing in, and then bringing that arm back. Okay, so now I'm going to prop myself up a little bit, but you could equally stay down on the mats, whatever feels comfortable for you. And you just got to do a quick self-check. Are my heels in line with my tailbone? And my knees in a nice sort of bent in a nice triangle position. And inhale, pull in my belly button. I don't need to, but it's good to activate it. Exhale and squeeze into that top glute. Remember, not allowing this top hip to roll backwards. So exhaling as you lift and inhaling as you lower. Exhale, squeeze it up and inhale. And sometimes you start to feel the second side more quickly than you did the first side. Squeeze it up, release and lower. And take 1 more, lift, release and lower. Then I'm going to invert my knees. So I'm going to roll my knees forward and my toes come up. So this exercise, clams, this is a really excellent exercise for helping to stabilize your pelvis. So if you struggle with pelvic stability, then these clam series are really good to help knit everything together, literally between the top of the thigh and the navel. Exhale as you press up and inhale as you lower. And I can feel my oblique kicking in, this oblique abdominal here as I raise the leg. Maybe you can too. Exhale, squeeze and lift. And then inhale, let's take the toe away. So you tap the knee down, knee to knee, lift toe to toe. Pressing down, all the while not rolling back. Okay, so tap down with the knee and lift up with the knee. Take it down. So if you can't feel this, you're probably rolling backwards. And lift it up. So try to stay stacked on those hip bones. Tap down, open and lift. Let's do 1 more. Tap down, open and lift, and then release it. And if it's cramping you, just give it a whack. Otherwise, we're going to just stay in that sideline position, interlace your hands, and then try to open. You might not get the back elbow to the mat. It doesn't matter. Breathing in. Just going to exhale, take a tiny little chest lift. So I really want you to tune in to this upper abdominal muscle here, those obliques. And inhale, stretch back. Exhale as you lift. And inhale to lower. Exhale, squeeze up. And release back. We're going to do 3 more. Exhaling. And inhale. And maybe 2 more. Exhale. And inhale. And 1 more. Reach and stay. Stretch those arms forward and pulse 8. 2, 1, and relax. Roll onto your back. And then take that figure 4 stretch. So you're going to cross 1 foot over the top. Reach around and hold behind the back of that thigh. And then just try to lengthen your tailbone along the mat. Breathing in. Exhaling to relax. So use your breath. And remember, your modifications would be to keep this foot on the floor. Some of us will find that that's enough of a stretch. Otherwise, you're going to keep that leg up and just relax. Try to stretch out your tailbone along the mat using the breath. Inhaling and exhale. And maybe take 1 more breath, breathing in. And then exhale and take that foot down. You're going to uncross the legs, stretch the arms out to the side. We're going to do hip rolls with the knees and feet glued together on the floor. We're going to rotate to one side and the head turns the opposite way, and just feel the stretch come all the way through your back. Breathing in. And then exhaling, drawing into your belly button and coming back to the center. So I am definitely using my stomach muscles to bring my legs back center. Inhale and rotate to the side. Take that lovely stretch, breathing in. And then exhale, pull your navel in and come back to the center. Let's just do 1 more each side. If you wanted to take it up a level, of course, inhale, 1 leg to tabletop. Exhale, the other leg to tabletop. Otherwise, just keep the feet on the mat. We're going to take the rotation. Legs go one way, head turns the other way, breathing in. Exhaling, pull those abdominals in as you come back center. And just 1 more to the other side, breathing in. Take that rotation, hover your legs, breathing in. Exhale, pull the abdominals in, come center. Lower 1 leg, lower the other. Reach the legs long, reach your arms up and overhead. Bring the arms forward, bring the head forward. You can pull into the back of the thigh and give yourself a little roll up to sitting. And then we're going to turn around onto our knees. So if you come onto your knees, we're going to come down onto all fours, and you're looking for that nice 4-point position where you've got your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. You're going to round your spine up to the ceiling and then release and lift your head. So pull your belly button in, you round up to the ceiling and then you release and lift the head. Tuck the tailbone under, pressing up through your mat, inhaling and release. So really using your mat to create resistance. If I really press my hands down and my knees and my shins and lift my spine a tiny bit higher and release down, and just do 1 more, pulling in from your belly button, following with front ribs to back ribs, and then finish neutral. Okay, I'm going to bring my knees together now and extend 1 leg away from me, still my cat stretch, but just with a leg swing. So round the spine, and then exhale, lift. And notice the choice of words here, swing. So my spine and my pelvis are coming with me. I'm not looking to hold a neutral spine, I'm just enjoying the freedom of movement as I pull my knee in and round my back, and as I exhale and lift. And again, let's do 2 more. And exhale, lift. And just take 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, lift and hold. We're going to flex the foot. Tiny pulses to the ceiling. Squeeze and lift. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that leg. Let's just sweep it all the way through. Slide your back leg away from you. And then just bend your elbows. Relax your head. And just come down into a nice stretch for that front hip. Relaxing the head down for a moment, breathing in and exhaling. And again, maybe 1 more breath, inhale and exhale. And then just slide your back leg in, and we're coming back to all fours, ready to do the cat swing on the other side. So I'm going to bend my knee, round the spine, exhale and lift. So tuck in, squeeze the glute as you lift that foot up towards the ceiling, rounding the back and stretching. Inhale to pull forward, exhale to lift up. Inhale, exhale. Or you could exhale, not that I mean to confuse you, and inhale. And again, and pause, and then flex your foot, tiny pulses, squeeze it up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that foot, slide it forward, slide the other leg away from you, get down to that nice stretch for those gluteals, for that piriformis that lies deep inside the butt muscle. So if you get sciatica, this is quite a nice stretch. You may find it really helps just to take the tension off that nerve. Using the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Trying to sink down, breathing in and exhale. And maybe take one more breath, breathing in. And then as I come up, I'm just going to tuck my back leg in and then just turn to face you, grab my ankle, reach the arm up and just take a nice side bend here to open all the way through the side of your back. Let's pulse it over. Reach for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Then I'm going to raise my hand, second hand, pull and really go into that lovely side bend, opening, and even try to push my hip into the movement. So try to aid that C curve more, not only with my arms but with my hips as well. Breathing in, stretch will increase on that in-breath, and then exhale, relax and take the arms out. And let's just do a little stretch to the other side. So just a nice, gentle, short, sweet class this morning, just to hopefully make you feel a bit better within your body if you are feeling tense or just in need of a stretch. Hold the breath, hold the stretch, grab the arm, and I'm just going to gently pull. I get to cradle my head in my underneath arm. Inhale. And on the exhale, I'm going to try to push my hip bone down into the floor, that left hip bone, while I side bend over to my right. And just maybe take one more breath, breathing in. Feel the stretch increasing, exhaling. Stretch over. And then breathe in. And relax. So great. Very short, very sweet. Hope you enjoyed the stretch that I gave you this morning. And we'll be back again soon with some more classes for everybody. Bye for now. I keep thinking this is a tablet, so I'm trying to use my finger to press. Anyway, here we go. Goodbye. See you soon.